Have you ever looked at someone driving a beautiful car, living in a stunning home, or just running a really successful business and thought to yourself, what do they know that I don't? Most of us just assume they got lucky, right? Or maybe they had the perfect connections. But what if almost everything we've been taught about becoming wealthy is fundamentally wrong? Well, think of me as your mentor for the next few minutes. We're going to dive into a hard truth about money, time, and the systems that actually govern our lives, and we'll be pulling from DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane and a few related financial strategies.
So here's a question that honestly haunts so many of us. Why do most people never become financially free, even though they work incredibly hard? You do what you're supposed to do. You go to school, you study hard, you land a secure job, and you work your 40 hours a week, sometimes a lot more than that. And yet, true financial freedom always just seems to be sitting slightly out of reach. Look, we have been relentlessly sold this very specific, very appealing narrative. Work hard for 4 decades, pinch your pennies, and eventually, one day in the distant future, you'll be rich. But we really need to challenge that myth. Why on earth should financial freedom only arrive at the very end of your life? Postponing your dreams for 40 years, waiting until you're literally too old to fully enjoy your money, is just insanity when there's a completely different way to operate.
There's a quote that hits the nail on the head here. It goes, "If you have not acquired more than a bare existence since your youth, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you do not observe them." What this means is that if you're struggling financially, it's almost never because you aren't trying. You're working incredibly hard. The real problem is you're playing a game where the mathematical odds are stacked completely against you. Wealth isn't an accident. It's a systematic process. It is governed by strict laws, and if we don't learn them, we stay stuck no matter how much elbow grease we put into our daily grind.
To really understand those laws, we first have to understand the trap. We've all heard the term the rat race. It's that exhausting lifestyle where you're just trading your precious time for a paycheck entirely to pay off liabilities. Your mortgage, your car loan, the credit cards. But what's so insidious about this trap is that simply increasing your salary doesn't actually fix the problem. If you have a flawed money mindset, a bigger bonus just turns into a bigger car. A raise turns into a more expensive apartment. You stay trapped in this endless cycle of consumption, perpetually living one paycheck away from being flat broke.
Okay, let's get into part 1, Sidewalk and the Slowlane. So society generally pushes us down one of 2 highly dangerous roads. First, you've got the sidewalk. This is the whole you only live once mentality, and it's funded almost entirely by debt. Now, sidewalkers aren't always broke on paper. They might be high-earning doctors or lawyers, but they spend every single dime they make just to look rich. Then on the flip side, there's the slow lane. This is the path we are universally applauded for taking. It's supposed to be the responsible choice. You trade 5 days of soul-crushing work for a 2-day weekend. You deprive yourself today, you settle for less, hoping that 40 years of miserly saving and compound interest will magically make you a millionaire by the time you're 65. You are essentially leasing your youth to a corporate master.
But here's a massive reality check on that slow lane promise. 60%. According to the Retirement Confidence Survey we cited in our sources, a staggering 60% of near retirees have saved less than $25,000. Just let that sink in for a second. Millions of people play the Wall Street casino, hoping compound interest will be their savior, and yet the vast majority are completely failing. The slow lane's promise of getting rich slowly is largely a losing gamble. It relies on a perfect alignment of the stars, absolutely no job losses, no health crises, no market crashes, and a very, very long life expectancy.
Because at the end of the day, time is your most precious asset. The fundamental flaw in the slow lane is that it treats your time as a cheap currency to just be traded away. Think about the emotional weight of this for a moment. Does selling 5 decades of your vibrant, youthful time just so you can buy maybe 10 elderly years of freedom really sound like a smart trade to you? True wealth shouldn't just be about having a big bank account when you're too old to actually enjoy it. True wealth is about having youth, health, and freedom right now.
Which brings us to part 2, the fast lane to wealth.
If the slow lane is a trap, what's the alternative? Well, it starts with a massive realization. Your employer decides your salary. The marketplace decides your value. As long as you rely on an employer, your income is artificially capped by what they decide you are worth for 1 hour of your time. The fast lane operates in a completely different universe. Out here, the marketplace decides your value. If you can create something that solves a problem for millions of people, your financial potential becomes mathematically unlimited. Successful entrepreneurs don't earn more because they inherently work harder. They earn more because they solve problems on a massively larger scale.
To actually get on this road, you have to undergo a really profound identity shift. You have to stop being a consumer and start being a producer. Look around. The majority of society are consumers. They buy the products, they watch the content, they pay for the services. To unlock the fast lane, you need to join the minority. You have to become the one who creates the value, builds the products, and provides the services. And the beauty is, when you succeed as a producer, the immense wealth you generate will allow you to consume pretty much whatever you want later on.
All right, part 3, building scalable business systems. Now, simply starting a business doesn't automatically put you in the fast lane. Honestly, a lot of small businesses are just high-stress jobs in disguise. To build a true wealth-generating asset, it has to pass what's called the CENTS framework, C-E-N-T-S. Let's break it down. Control. You have to own the system. If a social media algorithm changes and ruins your entire business overnight, you don't actually have control. Entry. If anyone can copy your business in 5 minutes, the market will flood. You need barriers to entry. Need. You absolutely must solve a real pain point rather than just chasing a fun passion project. Time. The system has to eventually run and generate revenue while you sleep. And scale. Your solution needs the potential to reach a massive global audience.
Let's put this into a real-world perspective. Consider a typical Slowlane freelancer, let's say a web designer. They are working in the business. If they stop designing sites, their income immediately drops to zero. They are still fundamentally trading their time for money. Now look at a Fastlane system builder, like Bill Gates back in the early days of Microsoft. He saw a massive market need and built a scalable asset, the Windows operating system, that could be copied infinitely at basically zero cost. He worked on the system, which detached his wealth entirely from his personal hourly labor.
So if you're sitting there wondering exactly what kind of system to build, keep this in mind. Chasing money directly, it basically always fails. Money is incredibly elusive when you pursue it selfishly. Instead, you need to turn your focus entirely outward. Listen to the world. Observe people's frustrations, their daily inconveniences, the glaring gaps in the market. When you shift your focus to providing immense value and actually having what others genuinely need, the money will naturally flow to you. It's just an unavoidable byproduct of solving problems at scale.
Let's bring it all together in part 4, your path to financial freedom.
So how do we actually apply all of this right now? Whether you're an employee looking for a way out, or maybe you're running a side hustle. Well, first we have to dispel a huge shadow. Society loves to tell us that get rich quick is a scam. And let's be clear, get rich easy is absolutely a scam. There are no magic buttons here. But the Slowlane myth wants you to patiently wait 40 years for index funds to do the heavy lifting. The Fastlane reality proves that rapid wealth accumulation is mathematically possible. It takes concentrated, immense effort up front. We're talking long hours, taking risks, and building serious strategy. But by leveraging systems, you can literally compress decades of wealth creation into a few short years.
Here is the practical game plan, your ultimate wealth equation. Step 1. Automate. Look closely at your current work and ask yourself, how can I detach my physical time from this income? Could I write a piece of software, build a content system, or hire a dedicated team? Step 2. Replicate. Take that automated product and scale it outward. Stop thinking local. You need to start thinking global. Step 3. Grow. Don't just be another generic commodity in a crowded market. Build a brand that people actively trust and find a way to differentiate yourself from the noise. And finally, Step 4. Exit. The ultimate Fastlane destination is often a liquidation event. That means selling your massive asset to fund a truly passive income system that sustains you for the rest of your life.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground in this explainer today, from the deceptive comfort of the rat race all the way to the limitless potential of the CENTS framework. The map is right in front of you now. You know the exact difference between the Sidewalk, the Slowlane, and the Fastlane. The only thing left is your choice. Are you going to continue trading your most precious asset, your time, for just a fraction of your true value? Or are you ready to become a producer, start solving real problems, and build a system that finally sets you free? The steering wheel is completely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.